Introduction. Are you happy with everything going on in your life right now? Chances are, if you are reading this book, you are looking for some sort of improvement. Maybe you're looking for some breakthrough in your relationship, because for whatever reason, you or your partner has hit an impasse. Maybe you're stuck in a job you hate. Maybe you feel that you are not in the best physical shape you're otherwise capable of achieving. Make no mistake, pain is part of the human experience. There's no such thing as a perfect life. There's no such thing as a life that involves just an unlimited amount of rainbows, and smiles, and lollipops. We live in reality, and believe me, there is always room for improvement. At the very least, most of us are living far below our potential. We know we are capable of so much more. We know that we have the raw ingredients for great success and accomplishment in this life. Still, for whatever reason, often self-inflicted, we fail to live up to our fullest potential. So too many of us live lives of guilt, regret, remorse, anger, resentment, and blame-finding. Please understand that if you want to achieve better things in your life, the only person that can truly hold you back spells her name this way, you. That's right, you're the person holding yourself back. If you don't believe me, look at the biographies of great people who have accomplished so much. A lot of them went through adversity. A lot of them actually had a long line of people telling them that they are too stupid, too poor, too backwards, too ugly, and gave them a million other reasons why they could not succeed. Yet they are up there, and you're down here. You have to understand that it's not where you come from that defines you. It's not your painful childhood trauma, or childhood poverty, or lack of advantages that hold you back. Many people have overcome bone-grinding poverty to die billionaires. A lot of people ended up with great careers, although they faced discouragement their whole life. So it's not your circumstances that define you. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it is not circumstances that make the man, they simply reveal him to himself. You have to understand that everything that's going on around you is an opportunity. You may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to jail soon. Is that an opportunity? My girlfriend just broke up with me. Where's the opportunity there? I'm stuck in a job that sucks, and my boss is an ogre. I don't see any opportunities. Well, the only opportunity that is always present at any time of your life is the opportunity to overcome, because what you consider a trial, an ordeal, or a hassle, somebody else can see as a tremendous blessing. It all depends on perspective. Because when you change your perspective, you change your character. Unfortunately, too many of us expect the world to be fair. We expect a smooth ride. We expect things to be handed to us. We believe that success is our birthright. We only to start, and before we know it, sooner or later, we will get to our destination. Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. And to add insult to injury, when we are given this education, we become resentful. We blame other people. We think that life is just a big joke. It doesn't have to be that way, and it all begins with your subconscious mind. Please understand that your conscious mind is just part of the equation of your personal reality. If you keep discounting, ignoring, or overlooking your subconscious mind, you're going to perform far below your fullest potential. Sure, you may be able to achieve many things, but can you imagine how much more you could have produced with your life if you had tapped into the power of your subconscious mind? I'm not necessarily talking about money, although many people achieve that. I'm talking about just personal happiness and contentment, and the certainty that you lived a life worth living. Sadly, most of us fail to do this because we put so much stress on our conscious mind that we wear ourselves out. It's like trying to participate in a bicycle race with a bike that has only one functioning wheel. You neglected the other wheel. You're not going to get far. This book teaches you the power of the subconscious mind and how you can use it to your advantage. Chapter 1. The conscious mind is limited. The conscious mind is limited by perception and experience. It works on a garbage in, garbage out principle. It's only as good as its input. If you want to maximize the power of your conscious mind, you need something else. You need the help of your subconscious mind. Using only your conscious mind means living in a psychic prison. When you focus only on using your reason and emotion rooted in your conscious mind, you are limited by space, time, and circumstances. There's a whole other world out there. There are many layers to that world. Unfortunately, you're completely blind to it because you're focused only on what you can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell. You're bound by the limitations of your senses. The conscious mind is very easy to enslave. It's not unusual for great historical people to say and do things that we find repugnant today. How come? They are a product of their times. In other words, they were thinking consciously and rationally, based on the world that they saw and interacted with during their historical period. Yet their lives had the seeds of greatness, and we still benefit from their work and their achievements. Still, their limitations are glaring. You also are just as limited because you rely on your conscious mind. We are very limited people because we are products of our specific circumstances. For example, we are products of our times. It really would be unfair for somebody from several hundred years from now to apply their standards of morality, culture, or whatever else to people living in our time. We are only responsible for what we know. Since we have a certain mindset and a shared set of ideas regarding how things should be in the here and now, we are limited by our times. This is still a limitation. We're also a product of our conditions. It really would be unfair for us to judge somebody who grew up in a certain environment to behave and have the values of somebody who did not grow up in that environment. Of course, this has limitations as well. There are certain common values that we expect of human beings regardless of their or biography, but, by and large, it is perfectly understandable for people to be judged based on the conditions they found themselves in. It would be great if all of us could overcome our conditions and live up to the highest standards, but we're only human. Another limitation is that we are products of our culture. It's very easy to define culture as involving certain types of dress and a certain cuisine. Those are superficial cultural differences. Cultural differences actually run deep. They impact how you view life, your general attitude, how you get along with others, and how you define the good life. Your culture also plays a big role in what your personal priorities and values are. We can debate all day long and then some on the issue of whether all cultures are equal or have the same value or lead to the same place. With that debate aside, it is indisputable that culture does play a big role in how people turn out. Going even deeper, when you notice that most people have certain cultures, it's easy to see where that cultural membership draws its power from. When you're a member of a culture, you want to go along. To get along. You want to be part of a crowd. You want to be accepted. There's a tremendous value in a sense of belonging. This puts tremendous pressure on people who grow up in their own culture to behave and think a certain way. The truth is, given all these limitations, instead of taking our minds to the next level and expanding it, these limitations shrink our minds. It restricts our sense of possibility. They work to shape, warp, and constrain our ability to become whoever we want whenever we want and to otherwise live life on our own terms. Chapter 2. Just how limited is our conscious mind? We are limited by our training. Your parents programmed you. A lot of your personal destiny has been set in stone by the people who raised you. It doesn't matter whether you grew up in a traditional American nuclear family, or a variation of it. Whoever took care of you played a major role in setting the course of your life. This is a limitation on your conscious mind, because your conscious mind can process many other courses. It can process many other maps, but it's stuck to the map that it first became aware of. Where's the power? There. The conscious mind is bound by habit. It's human nature to stick with what we know. We know that there are better things out there. There are better paths, but we are already familiar with our path. We are already comfortable with our programming, so we stick with it. We know we are capable of so much more, but because of the sheer force of habit, we stay on the course, we remain stuck. The conscious mind is bound by reputation. Deep down inside, a lot of us live for other people's validation. This is why we hang on to our programming. We know that it's suboptimal. We know that we could do better. We know that there are other forms of programming out there that may take us to a much higher level, but we stick to our programming because we want the people around us to approve. They stick to pretty much the same programming. We're going to stick out like a sore thumb if we choose another path. So because we want to go along, to get along, we stick with the tried and proven. Sadly, a lot of the time, the collective mindset that we seek to preserve, as far as our conscious mind goes, does us a big disservice. We could be soaring high. We could be going so much better, but we stick to tradition, custom, and social expectations. The conscious mind is easily overruled by emotion. It is no surprise that a lot of shoppers in the United States buy product after product when they don't really need it. In fact, the vast majority of commercial decisions in the United States and elsewhere are actually impulsive by nature. The reason for this is our conscious mind is easily overridden by emotion. We let our emotions get the better of us. Instead of us responding to situations based on our highest values or priorities, we let our emotions take over and we feel helpless against it. So despite the fact that we know that we are going to be spending more money than we have, and we are going to regret it later on, we still go through with it. Chapter 3. The conscious mind is powerful but self-limited. Your conscious mind is your most powerful possession. Different people have different minds, and they have different lives. These differences all stand from the fact that they have different minds. Change your mind and you will end up with a different outcome. It is not easy, nor is it smooth, but changing your mind is the first step to fundamental change. Your conscious mind impacts how you edit your personal reality. Believe it or not, every single human being on this planet edits her own reality. Every single second. The outside world bombards you with thousands of stimuli. Thanks to your programming, you choose to become aware of only a tiny fraction of that stimuli. Thanks to your programming, you chose to remember only a tiny fraction of the stimuli you chose to perceive. Your mindset then kicks in and interprets what you chose to remember, and this can trigger an emotional state which leads to your saying and doing things that other people will notice. That's how you change your reality, and it all begins with your conscious mind tied into the mindset that you have. Your life is the product of your mindset. It's very easy to think of mindset as some sort of optional operating device. It's very tempting to dismiss it as something that just plays in the background with no real effect on how your life turns out. The problem is this is so far from the truth that it's funny. Your life is the product of your mindset. The way you look, the way you talk, who you hang out with, your values, what you strive for. Everything. That's how crucial your mindset is. Sadly, too many of us go about our day thinking that mindset doesn't really matter. In fact, a lot of us carry on with the thinking that somehow, some way, mindset is just one empty detail about us, not much different from having a favorite shirt color or preferring a certain haircut. That's too bad, because if you take ownership of your mindset, you would quickly realize that you chose your mindset. It's a choice. It's like choosing between the Apple operating system and the Windows operating system. We all pretty much have roughly the same type of hardware. We have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 head, 2 arms, you name it. However, the big difference between people is the mental software they choose to install. That is your mindset, and it is chosen. Going with this central and fundamental fact, nothing ultimately is an accident. It all begins with the mindset you chose. When you choose a certain mindset, you start viewing reality a different way. It may start out as a small difference, but it can lead to a completely different place. You make totally different decisions. You feel different emotions about different things. Sadly, too many people fail to realize this. They refuse to take ownership of this. Not surprisingly, their mindset often works against them instead of working for them. Instead of taking their lives to the next level and allowing them to live out their lives according to their fullest potential, they live small, defeated, and powerless lives. The worst part to all of this? They chose that existence. Your conscious mind is often enslaved by your mindset. Your conscious mind is very powerful. Think of it like a powerful machine on a factory floor. But your mindset is the software that you install on that machine. Keep this in mind, because you can have the most powerful computer on the planet at your disposal, and program it to play only video games. Wouldn't that be a waste? Well, guess what? People do it all the time. You have an awesome biochemical computing machine called your mind, and you fill it with junk. Your mindset chooses only to look at the negative, the limited, the depressing, the pathetic, and your reality. Is the outcome? Is that a good use of that powerful reality bending and editing machine? You decide. I think you know the answer. You often waste the power of your conscious mind. When was the last time you read a novel? When was the last time you analyzed a work of art? When was the last time you thought about your life and came up with deep insights that changed the way you look at certain things that happened in your past, or things that you normally worry about regarding the future? If you're like most people, the answer is once in a while or never. Those activities are part of your conscious mind. Your conscious mind would love to do those, because those can help change your life. You can achieve tremendous breakthroughs. By reading novels, you can step into other people's lives. And by doing so, make sense of your own life, because we're not all that different. A lot of the deep personal, philosophical, psychological, and spiritual issues discussed in the great literature of history resonate to your life, if you only choose to see it. The connection is there, but most people don't want to do that. They'd rather fill their minds with junk. I'm talking about Twitter, Facebook timeline, and believe me, Facebook can have a lot of vital information, but the problem is the way we use it. It's like we are filling our minds with intellectual and mental chewing gum. It's garbage in, garbage out. So you have this powerful machine called your conscious mind, and it's stuck in neutral. The more it processes, the more it overheats, and the more stuck you feel. You feel overwhelmed. You feel burned out. Chapter 4. Your conscious mind needs the help of your subconscious mind. If you want to achieve a breakthrough, you have to rediscover your subconscious mind. Everybody has a subconscious mind. It is one of the things that unite all humanity. The problem is most of us are unaware of it, and those who are aware of it often go out of the way to deny it. They are scared of it. They don't want to take responsibility over it, and they struggle. What is the subconscious mind? It is very to understand the conscious mind, because we are aware of its operations. When we make judgment calls, when we make decisions, when we think about somebody, or we're thinking about what to say while we are dealing with other people, our subconscious mind is at work. By the same token, when we are reading something and we try to analyze what we just read, we can see our conscious mind at work. But the subconscious mind is harder to pin down. Here are some of its qualities. Your subconscious mind involves your collective non-conscious memory. Remember earlier I said that every single second, the outside world is bombarding you with thousands of stimuli? Remember that I said that you choose to perceive only a tiny fraction of that, and of that fraction you choose to remember only a smaller fraction. That is willful remembrance, or willful memory. But there is a flip side to this. Your subconscious is also picking up stuff, and it's not bound by your conscious mind. It's not bound by its biases, rules, or habits. It's more random. It's like a screenshot. There may be fuzzy details, but it's still a screenshot. This can come in handy. It is no surprise that some people, when they find themselves in a certain situation, they remember certain details of what happened in the past, and this can lead them to a decision that is different from what they would have normally arrived at if they were to have relied only on their conscious mind. Your subconscious mind ties you to the rest of humanity. There is such a thing as a lizard brain. This is the part of your brain that first evolved. Please understand that the newest part of your brain is your cerebral cortex, the front part. This is the reasoning part. This is what people get all excited about because this is the seat of logic, reason, and judgment. This is where wisdom comes from. But for that part to evolve and mature, it has to be supported by another part of your brain. This is the older part, the lizard brain. It's very easy to dismiss the lizard brain as backwards, antiquated, even barbaric and brutish. But, believe me, if it didn't do its job, we wouldn't be thinking the way we do at a high level. Somebody's gotta do the dirty work, right? The lizard brain has memories as well. It is instinctive, raw, unapologetic, basic. It might even be offensive to some people or too crude, but it does the job. It is up to you whether you're going to apologize for the things that you pick up with your lizard brain. People can talk a good game about the fine points of life, but the lizard brain would always want to sum everything up by going straight to the point. Does it involve money, food, sex, power, or what? Didn't I tell you that it's going to be perceived as crude? But it's vital. Your subconscious mind gets to the point. It doesn't beat around the bush. Your subconscious mind overrides your emotions. Your subconscious mind can enable you to override your emotions, because it understands where your emotions are coming from. It revels in irrationality because it is above and beyond your conscious mind's attempt at rationality. Despite all the chaos, all the confusion and unnecessary drama, it establishes an order. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to see this. They'd rather fear it. They'd rather fear that there's a part of them that actually welcomes drama, chaos, tragedy. A few people would cop to feeling good when something bad happens to their friend. Remember, it's probably acceptable if something bad happens to your enemy, and you felt good about it. But what about your friend, or your family member? There's that deep-rooted sentiment there, and that's your subconscious mind. This is called Schadenfreude. It's actually rooted in evolution. Think of it this way. If you were transported tens of thousands of years back in the age of the cavemen, and there was a bear chasing you and a buddy, your number one goal is to basically outrun your buddy. It's not to look out for your friend, because if you did that, your genes would die with you. What genes made it in that scenario? The guy who ran really fast and never turned back to see what happened to his buddy. I know it's harsh, but this is the subconscious mind we're talking about. It is filled with all sorts of unpleasant realities, sentiments, and tendencies we are embarrassed about, or would rather deny. Still, they are real. Your subconscious mind is the source of your intuition. Even if you haven't been somewhere before, or you haven't been exposed to a situation before, has it ever happened to you that you know what to do at the right time, with the right people, to produce the right outcome? This is not just a simple case of being lucky. This is not just a simple case of recovering the memory of things that you have done right in the past. That's somehow, some way related to what you were doing at that point in time. No, a lot of the times, that is a hunch. A lot of the times, that's intuition. And guess where that comes from? That's your subconscious mind. It's able to connect the dots at the right time to produce a result. Does it always work? Absolutely not. It works enough times for you to take notice. You should sit up and pay attention to it. Chapter 5. Learn to control your subconscious mind. What follows is a quick overview of the next 5 chapters. These steps help you tap the power of your subconscious mind to turbocharge your conscious mind. To tap the power of your subconscious mind, you must first stop denying it. Stop chalking things up to chance. It may seem that life is happening around you on a purely random basis. It's as if there's no rhyme or reason to the things happening around you. That's only what it looks like on the surface. The truth is, it's very easy to think that you're just lucky. Look at whatever has gone right, and it's very easy to walk away with the conclusion that you were just at the place at the right time doing the right things, and all of a sudden, all these right outcomes materialized. The truth is the complete opposite. Have you ever noticed that certain people seem to be at the right place at the right time doing the right things? It's as if it happens again and again to them. It turns out that there's a lot more planning and design going on than we cared to realize. Being at the right place at the right time doing the right things with the right people takes a lot more purpose and premeditation than you think. When you learn to tap your subconscious mind to serve your conscious mind, serendipity happens more often. How come? You're simply prepared for it. Test out your subconscious mind as much as you can. You need to go from fearing your subconscious to actively collaborating with it. If you are feeling stuck in any area of your life, or you are frustrated with any kind of decisions you made in the past, you need to recruit your subconscious mind. It turns out it's not the boogeyman man hiding under your bed threatening and scaring you. Instead, it's the golden key that can help you unlock a life full of possibility and achievement. Every single second is an opportunity to consult with and test your subconscious mind. Allow your subconscious mind to act as your personal compass. When you use a compass, oftentimes, you're going into uncharted territory. You are venturing to a place you haven't been to before. When you learn to trust your subconscious mind, you allow it to become your compass. It points you in the right direction. Paired with your memory, you can allow work with your subconscious mind to draw up a map. It points you in the right direction, then you reference that direction with the things that you have observed and experienced in the past, and you connect the dots. This is how you create a map. You haven't been there before. You haven't achieved certain things before, but it doesn't matter. Thanks to your subconscious mind and your willingness to trust your intuition as well as your clear, focused memory, you now have a map. Take ownership of this map and you'd be surprised where you end up. Do a subconscious mind self-audit. When you do a mind self-audit, you will be surprised at what you will find out. You will be surprised at just how powerful your mind turns out to be. You would also be surprised at how versatile, flexible, persevering, and tenacious you can be. However, none of this is possible until you are willing to peel off the curtains of your subconscious mind. Look deep within. It's definitely going to be scary because most people do not dare to venture into that territory. However, just like with any great discover, fear often gives way to excitement and, ultimately, victory and pride. Chapter 6. Just because it's hidden doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Your subconscious mind is all too real. If you are in any way unhappy with your life, a lot of it is because you have relied too much on your conscious mind. You have left dormant your most powerful possession, your full mind. Your full mind, of course, is made up of both your conscious and subconscious mind. Whatever it is that you've achieved, whatever it is you're proud of, whatever it is people pat you on the back for, you know deep down inside, you could be doing more, and you could have gone farther. But unfortunately, you relied only on your conscious mind. In fact, if you're like most people, you feel that's the only thing you can do. Stop using your subconscious mind as a Ferrari doorstop. How ridiculous is the idea of a Ferrari doorstop? Can you imagine spending more than $400,000 on a car only to use it as a doorstop or paperweight? Sounds crazy, right? Too stupid to be true. Well, that's how most people deal with their subconscious mind. They are scared of it. They don't exactly know what it is. So they shut it aside, and then just focus on her conscious mind. And guess what happens? They don't thrive as well as they would if all cylinders of their minds are working. This requires the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will hold you back if you don't deploy it. Your intuition, as powerful as it is, can always work against you. You can develop negative instincts. Have you ever noticed that a lot of successful people, who otherwise dominate their field of expertise, and are at the top of their game, often sabotage themselves? This is because they did not let their subconscious in on their plans. So what happens is your subconscious mind fuels your negative instincts. Please understand that for everything that you work for, there is always an opposite force. Unfortunately, if you don't master your subconscious mind, it will always end up on the other end. Let's put it this way, if you're working towards a goal, what naturally happens in your mind? You're all pumped up and excited about your goal. You're making all these plans, you're putting into work. Everything looks good, but at the other side of your consciousness is the part that's doubting. The other part is saying that it can't be done. The other part that is saying that you don't have it in you. Guess what happens to your subconscious mind? Where do you think its raw power goes to? Similarly, if you are married, or you are the pillar of society, you have to put up appearances. But there are inner drives in you, like maybe an addiction to porn, an addiction to sex out of marriage, or some other addiction. Guess which part of you fuels that? That's right, your subconscious mind. How come you did not take full ownership of it? The more you ignore your subconscious, the more mysterious it appears. Think of your subconscious as a physical place that you consciously avoid. The more you refuse to explore something, the more mysterious it becomes. You make all sorts of weird guesses as to what's going on, and, oftentimes, these guesses are informed by your fears and amplified by your ignorance. The more you refuse to even acknowledge your subconscious, or you go from thinking that it's off limits, to thinking that it's just some place that you would never go to in a million years, eventually, you start to forget about it. Your mind is trained to not even think about it. What happens? Eventually, it would seem like it doesn't even exist. The sad reality behind all of this, of course, is the fact that you continue to live with its consequences. Its impact on your life is never going to go away. It's there regardless of whether you choose to see it or not. It's like that proverbial 800-pound elephant in the middle of the room. You can contort your body. You can play music, talk to your friends, and eat, but there's an 800-pound elephant in the room. The fact that you have become blind to it doesn't make it magically disappear. It's still there. The worst part is, you're contorting your body. You're smelling its dung. You are living in cramped quarters. You're even feeling the heat. However, despite all of these, you refuse to see it. You live with its consequences, and you could infer its existence distance from those consequences, but you choose not to. It remains hidden to you because of your choice. This leads to a sad situation. No wonder you're feeling stuck. No wonder your relationships suck. No wonder you're out of shape. No wonder you have low self-esteem. It is no mystery. There is an 800-pound elephant in the room, but you refuse to acknowledge it. But that's how pathetic a life lived in willful ignorance of your subconscious faculties can be. The key to your subconscious mind is to stop fearing it. A lot of people think of their subconscious mind, if they think about it at all, as some sort of shadow. It's their worst instinct. It's not their better angel. They make up all sorts of names for it. What they're really doing is they are basically covering up for their fear. Most people fear the unknown. And the problem is, with the subconscious mind, it will continue to be unknown unless and until you take ownership of it. In the following chapters, I'm going to step you through how to make this happen. Chapter 7. Own your subconscious mind. It's part of you. It's natural. It is the other half of your consciousness. It is the repository of your unremembered dreams. It is your impulses. It is the great beyond as far as your mind is concerned. Are you going to constantly run away from this and refuse to tap its unlimited power? Or are you going to own it, warts and all? Taking ownership means refusing to be afraid. There are many things collected by your subconscious mind that you would rather not look at. This may be childhood trauma. This may be sick, twisted, and embarrassing thoughts that you may have. You have to overcome your repulsion to these things when you take ownership of your subconscious mind, because it is part of you. That fact is not going to go away. This is part of you. And if you want to change something or change its direction or make it work towards a better outcome, you have to first claim ownership and stop fearing. Taking ownership of your subconscious mind means refusing to feel guilty. If you emotionally beat yourself regularly, please understand that this is not just some free-floating anxiety. It's not just something that enters your mind because your brain has nothing else better to do. This comes from somewhere. It has a cause. It is not random. When you take ownership of your subconscious mind, you can start refusing to feel guilty. Feeling guilty is a choice. When you feel remorse or regret about certain things that happened in the past or choices that you've made, those are your interpretations of those facts. You can choose to learn from them and move on, or you can choose to beat yourself up emotionally, over and over again. It's your choice. Guilt is an emotional interpretation. When you take full ownership of your subconscious, you quickly realize that this is going on. You quickly understand that there are better options out there. Guilt, remorse, regret, as powerful as they may be, can hold you back and drag you down. Wouldn't it be better to learn from them and use them the way they were intended? These emotions feel bad because they're intended to teach us a lesson. If anything, we're supposed to use them as motivation to make better decisions in the future. When you take ownership, you allow yourself to do this. You allow yourself to be curious again. Because now you could look at how you've been coping and try to come up with an alternative. If you've been racked by guilt because you disappointed your parents for over 30 years, your curiosity might lead to a different interpretation or, better yet, a different coping mechanism, but none of this is going to happen if you continue to stay where you are. If you continue to refuse to take ownership, you will suffer the same results as before. The bottom line is, whatever negative consequences of your actions you're feeling, they arise primarily from your refusal to take ownership of these emotions. They are coping mechanisms. You can choose to cope in different ways. You are not stuck with the way you've done things for years. It may seem like it, but you actually have a lot more control and a lot more say over your situation than you care to realize. Take ownership. Learn to explore your subconscious mind. Start a journal and explore the things that you fear. Explore how you normally respond to this fear. Please understand that you are looking at circumstantial evidence. In other words, for you to know if the world is really round, it's not like you can put yourself in a rocket, shoot yourself thousands of miles up into the atmosphere, and then verify once and for all that the Earth is round. The simpler and more practical way to do it is wait for the next eclipse. When you see the eclipse, then you know exactly that the Earth's shadow is round. The same applies to your subconscious. There are many ways to explore it, and believe me, a lot of them are very, very hard. The easiest way to do it is through just circumstantial evidence. Pay close attention to what you are afraid of. You can't quite find a rational reason why you are afraid of certain things. That is your subconscious mind speaking to you. Pay close attention to this. List these out. Come up with a collection of these, and then pay attention to the things that you're guilty of, or you feel remorseful about. Look at all the negative emotions you have, and then pay close attention to them. Catalog them. Because they start giving you a snapshot of your subconscious mind. Learn to map out your intuition. Have you ever noticed that in certain situations, you tend to say the right things at the right time, to produce the right results with the right people? A lot of the times, this is not due to your prior training. A lot of the times, this is not due to the fact that you were groomed to do that kind of thing. Instead, it just came out of you. Well, that is your subconscious mind as well, because intuition is a big part of your subconscious mind. Map that out. Become fully aware of that. Wrap your mind around it. Take ownership of it. This is not a scary thing. A lot of people think that this is some sort of scene from The Exorcist, Or some horror movie. In fact, judging by how some people talk about this situation, it's as if they're describing that scene in the movie Alien, where the alien punches a hole through some guy's chest as people were operating on the guy. Really grotesque, really sad, and really distorted. Because your subconscious mind is beautiful. Don't be afraid of the beauty of your subconscious mind. Let's get real, a lot of your nightmares come from your subconscious mind, because this is the area that you really can't control. So a lot of your desires, a lot of your perversions, a lot of your twisted logic, and all that other mental debris, you try to segregate unconsciously into your subconscious mind. So, it's kind of like a dumping ground for half-baked, unformed thoughts and frustrated wishes. But just like any garbage dump can be located near a beautiful park or a wide-open, green field right under a beautiful, wide-open, blue, endless sky, your subconscious mind can be a thing of beauty. So, don't just focus on the things that you'd rather run away from, or are embarrassed about. Focus on the whole picture. Learn to live in your subconscious mind. Learn to appreciate the things in your subconscious mind and be comfortable in it, because this is the key to taking control over it. If there are certain things that you're guilty about, confront them, look at them straight in the eye. Did this really happen? And is this a reasonable reaction? You'd be surprised as to how many twisted, painful, tortured memories in your subconscious can be dealt with once and for all if you were just adult enough to stand up to them. Chapter 8. Learn to live in the moment. Embracing your subconscious mind means you have to accept living in the moment. A lot of people have a tough time living in the moment. Either they are tortured by the past, or they're frozen stiff by worries about the future. But if you want to have a chance at taking full ownership and controlling your subconscious mind, you have to take control of it with the present in mind. In other words, be aware of the present moment. Your mind should be focused right here, right now. Be fully conscious as much as you can. Get rid of sentimentality and delusions. There are many different types of delusion. The most delusion is that we think that we should act a certain way, or have a certain bearing, because that's how what other people around us expect us to do. It's some sort of protocol. It's some sort of unwritten rule that we have to follow. You can't handle your subconscious mind that way because it's deep down in you, and it's personal. You have to deal with it in the rawest and most immediate way. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be a lot of memories there that you have been avoiding. They're probably going to freak you out, but you have to take control of them. You have to take ownership of them. This is no time to put up appearances. This is no time to try to live up to other people's expectations. Forget that. This is you, you're doing it for yourself, because you know you're capable of so much more. You know you could be so much happier. Get rid of the worst form of delusion, regret. When you regret certain things that have happened and you feel sorry that things have turned out a certain way, what's really happening? Don't you ever stop to ask yourself that question? What are you really doing when you're feeling regret? When you feel regret, you're constantly thinking about what should have happened, what you could have done, or what you would have done if things were different. What do these sentiments all have in common? That's right. You keep rehashing and replaying traumatic scenes from the past over and over in your head. That's like suffering a burn when you were a kid and then burning yourself again and again every time you remember that incident. A lot of people who go through regret are thinking, well, when I do that, I'm actually thinking about solutions. I'm thinking about alternatives. I'm thinking about healing. No, you're not. You're only doing this for emotional release. You're going through the motions, but you're not really doing anything tangible to free yourself from the tentacles of this nasty emotion. Do you see the difference? It's you wanting to change the weather by choosing to chew gum. It doesn't make any sense. There's no connection, and the worst part of our regret is you're actually making things worse because those emotional wounds happened in the past. The past is never going to come back unless you allow yourself to get emotionally worked up about the past so it becomes vivid again. In many cases, it may have started out small or almost insignificant, but as you grew older, you started reading too many things into it and you start blowing up its emotional impact. The end result? You're more miserable now about it. Stop doing this. Understand what you're doing. You're doing this for emotional release. However, that's not the solution. That's just as worthless as daydreaming. For example, you have a tough time paying rent. You have no money to your name. Every single day. You almost get fired from your job. So, you daydream about you becoming rich. You daydream about living in a big house with amazing cars and traveling all over the world. The daydream doesn't really solve your problem in the here and now, but it does give you an emotional escape. Who wants the sting and humiliation of the landlord knocking on your door demanding the rent? Who wants to hassle with supervisor telling you that you're screwing up and you're just one step away from getting fired? However, instead of confronting these head-on by looking at actual workable solutions, you daydream about an alternative life where all your current problems are gone. You get the emotional release but not much else. This is mental and emotional candy. It doesn't help you. The same applies to regret. It doesn't help. Learn to trust yourself. Stop second-guessing yourself. When you're dealing with your subconscious mind, it's going to be rough. You're going to think that there are so many things there that you'd rather not deal with. There are so many things there that are simply impossible. No, that's just an illusion. They seem impossible because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself enough to change. You don't trust yourself enough to make the right steps at the right time to produce the right outcome. In other words, this is your self-esteem talking. You have such a low view of yourself, and that's why you feel incapable. Other people have overcome that fear and tapped into their fullest mind. And that's why they live life to the fullest. If people can do that, why can't you? You're not much different from them. The only difference really is attitude. Catalog your subconscious mind. As I have said earlier, list down all your fears. List down all the things that are making you guilty. List down all the things that are making you anxious. List down all the things that are making you sad. List all of the things that you think you remember, that have a profound emotional impact on you. Also list down the crucial turning points in your life that led you to where you are. Now, once you have all these information, you're ready to come up with a circumstantial investigation of your subconscious mind. Chapter 9. Compile a subconscious mind profile. To hunt a fugitive, the FBI starts out with a profile. Your personal fugitive is your subconscious mind. For the longest time, you don't know what it is. You're afraid of it, and that's why you don't really feel you know it fair enough. But you can come up with a composite. Based on the listings that you did in Chapter 8, come up circumstantially of who your subconscious mind is, what it's capable of, what it's currently doing. List down what your subconscious mind is currently doing. List down what your subconscious mind is capable of. Be aware of the disconnect. This is crucial. When you realize that your subconscious mind has been feeding your fears and insecurities, you are using that Ferrari as a paperweight. It's not doing its job. It's supposed to make your life better. It's supposed to make you feel empowered. It's supposed to give you the tools that you need to live life to the fullest. Instead, it's making it worse. Instead, you're using its power to fuel the things that are dragging you down, holding you back, and making you feel small, weak, powerless, ugly, repulsive, unemployable, pathetic, and sad. Is this what you want? This is not what most people want. But the problem is, you can say, this is not what I want. In fact, you can say it until you're blue in the face. But if you're like most people, you have fallen in love with your handcuffs. You've fallen in love with the invisible prison that you've surrounded yourself with, because it's the only thing you know. There is Comfort in misery. You know you deserve so much more, but it hurts to strive for more. Plus, there is also that overarching threat, that looming possibility of imminent failure, pain, rejection. You've fallen in love with your handcuffs. I want you to overcome your fear. It's not easy, this is almost impossible, but look at the life that you have right now, and your capacity, and you compare it to the disconnect between the power of your subconscious and the life that you have right now. Do you see the disconnect? It should be glaring. It should be obvious. People 10 miles away should be able to see it without even using binoculars, or even glasses. It sticks out. What are you going to do about it? Write down a new vision for yourself with a full mind. Create a vision board for yourself. I want you to take pictures from all over the internet that highlight what your goals are. If you are living life with a full mind, this is made up of your conscious and subconscious mind. I want you to create different categories in that vision board: health, relationships, mindset, finances, career, spirituality, and under each, come up with pictures, from all over the internet, of the ideal that you want for yourself. Chapter 10. Unleash your subconscious mind with these techniques. Constantly play the mental movie of your life that you consciously chose. Believe it or not, we already play mental movies in our heads. We play mental movies when we're planning. We play mental movies when we're looking forward to something. In fact, when you were a kid, you probably played mental movies all the time. Do you remember in the middle of summer thinking about Christmas? When you thought about Christmas when you were a little kid, what kind of images came to mind? A movie came to mind. You start thinking about unwrapping that toy that you've always wanted. You imagine yourself marveling at the Christmas tree with all those neatly wrapped gifts at the foot of the tree. It's that anticipation for Christmas along with the freshly cooked meals and the smiles on everybody's faces, as well as the warm hugs of family and friends you haven't seen in a long time. That's what made Christmas so special, and it's all in vivid display in the mental movie that we played to ourselves when we were kids. You already know how to do this. What I'm asking you is to recapture that ability. If you still don't get me, here's a negative example. Have you ever worried yourself sick? Have you ever been gripped with so much anxiety about something going horribly wrong? Chances are you were playing a mental movie in your head. Maybe you were thinking that your boss will find out about what you did at work and you will find yourself out on the streets without a job. Perhaps you were worried about missing the rent payment and you are gripped by the fear of being put out by your landlord and becoming homeless and living out of your car. People already do this, but they often do it in the context of fear or regret. The good news is we don't have to keep playing that kind of mental movie. We only need to switch the direction of that mental movie viewing skill that we already have to something more positive. Focus on your plans. Focus on your subconscious mind working for you. Think of concrete examples of this, like getting a better job, getting promoted, going back to school and doing well, and pair this with real actions. Don't just delude yourself that somehow, someway I'm going to go back to school and I will learn the skills that I need to take my life to the next level. That's not going to work. There has to be matching action. There has to be some sort of proactive action of a decision that you have taken. This mental movie just gives it more immediacy. You get that fresh dose of willpower to keep pushing you forward. After all, when you make any kind of plan, there will always be opposition. There will always be an unforeseen event. As the old saying goes, life is what happens when you're making other plans. Your plans may seem crystal clear to you. Everything might fit neatly, but by the time you actually take action on them, things turned out to be a bit more complicated than you had hoped. That's how life works. Life is full of curveballs. You're going to have to roll with the blows. Learning how to play your mental pictures the right way works wonders in rolling with the blows and making you more versatile and flexible as a person. Write down the ideal life for yourself based on your vision board. Do you have the images? Now, write down a summary of that. Write down a script of that. Read it again and again until you can memorize it. Does it make sense to you? Does it strike deep? Is it true? Does it strike to the core of who you are? Does it speak of your character? If your answer to any of these is no, you have to go back to stage 1 and repeat until you answer all these questions with a resounding yes. Turn your statement into a mental video. Now that you have a statement of your full mind enabling you to achieve your biggest goals in life, turn it into a video. Imagine yourself with a full mind achieving these things. It must be vivid. It must be clear. There has to be no hint of a hope, a wish, or some passing fancy. It has to be so real in your mind that you can reach out and touch it. Unleash the power of all your senses when mentally rehearsing your desired reality. Your subconscious mind remembers. It writes future reality in the form of intuition, but you have to help it along. You have to keep rehearsing the mental movie that you have written for yourself and make sure that you engage all your senses while sitting back and watching a movie play out in front of our eyes is very powerful. We can take things to the next level when we add all our other senses in that movie. Don't just imagine the things that you can see. Don't just vividly see an alternative reality. Pay attention to what you hear, touch, taste, and smell. Engineer these into your mental video. This is your preferred reality. This is your chosen outcome. Unleash the power of mental states. There are many times in your life when you feel empowered. It seems like your body and your mind are lined up, and you are able to make things happen. Remember that time at work when you were tired, but you were still able to complete your assignment and then some? Remember that time at school when you're supposed to read 200 pages, and you were able to finish 500 pages? Remember that sense of pride that you got when you graduated high school and received your diploma? Zero in on those memories. Tap the power of your subconscious mind, animating those memories. Because if you can achieve that same physiological state, you would be able to overcome your conscious mind's worries, limitations, and blockages to achieve the same result. Let's put it this way: if you are able to achieve success in the past, what's preventing you from achieving victory now? You were able to do it before. So when you assume the physiological state, when your chest is out, when your back is straight, when your eyes are wide open, and there's a smile on your face, and there's this can-do attitude that just basically fills you, you are able to break out of the current funk that you're in. Because if you don't change anything, you will get the same results. As the old saying goes, insanity is defined as doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting different results. That's not going to happen, so you have to change what you do. That means change your physiological state, because obviously, it's not doing you any favors, and you need your subconscious mind for this. Trust your subconscious mind when doing planning. It's very easy to plan on a straight 1-2-3 basis. You're basically just going through the motions. You're just filling in a template of what you already know. There's really no creativity there, much less intuition and insight. This is where your subconscious mind can come in. Look at that blank page, and instead of feeling bound to do things the exact same way you've done them 1,000 times before, let your subconscious mind fill that blank page with no preconceptions. You'd be surprised at the results. You'd be surprised at the connections you are able to make, which can lead to breakthroughs. Please understand that this requires discipline. So your subconscious mind and your conscious mind has to line up, but the good news is, if you just let your subconscious mind fill it out, just off the top of your head, anything that comes to your mind, and then you can reorganize, and then rationalize, and then come up with something better. Learn to trust the moment. I know you're supposed to hold your tongue. I know you're supposed to think before you talk, but oftentimes great breakthroughs are made when something out of the blue was said at the right time, and this changes the trajectory of the conversation and unleashes a chain reaction. Remember, you are always sending vibrations to the lives of other people around you. You have an effect on the universe. You have an impact. It can be your facial expressions. It can be your proposals. It can be your actions. It can be your words. There's just so many ways you can impact people around you. But instead of constantly checking yourself, worried sick about what other people would think, trust your subconscious mind. If it's pushing you to say something, it may come off as rude, it may seem like you're interrupting people, but that might be exactly what's needed. That might be the push that leads to the breakthrough. So trust yourself. Tap your subconscious mind to forgive yourself. There are many memories that we hang on to that make us sick to this very day, or make us feel bad, or feel small. They are flat-out lies. Seriously. They are false memories. They had some sort of association in the past, and for whatever reason, we thought it actually happened, when it turns out it's not true. You have to be honest with your subconscious mind because it's stockpiling all of these. Your conscious mind contains some of these, but your subconscious mind gives it power. So your job is to revisit your personal past. I know that it's painful to think about past child abuse. You're probably not all that thrilled to remember that day when your father abandoned your family, but you have to look at those events and figure out what actually happened, what is its interpretation, and what did I blow up out of proportion, what did I read in. You'd be surprised that even in situations where bad things did happen, like your father or your mother did abandon you, it doesn't have to be crippling. It doesn't have to be this weight that you have to carry with you for the rest of your life. Allow your subconscious mind to unlock its secrets and get in there, and take ownership of its contents, catalog them, and then analyze them. Ultimately, it's all about, are the memories that I'm holding on for dear life helping me to get ahead? Or are they just dragging me down and making me feel small, or weak, powerless, ugly, repulsive, talentless, incompetent, stupid? You're the only person who knows how to do this, because everybody's different. But you have to go in there, you have to get into that mental warehouse of your subconscious mind and take stock. Otherwise, these things will have weight. The weight of the past will continue to drag you down along with the fear of the future. Conclusion. Take control of your life today. Every single day you wake up, you're a day closer to your eventual death. I don't want to sound grim, I don't want to depress you, but this is a reality check. Every single day you kick the can down the road, when it comes to achieving a personal breakthrough over your consciousness, is a day wasted. The information that I've shared with you in this book will only have power if you act on them. You can read this book many times over, you can even read it 1,000,000 times, and it's not going to change your life for the better until and unless you decide to act on them. Please understand that this is not some sort of one-time, big-time kind of action. This is a commitment. Because it took a long time for you to pick up the habits and the mindsets that make up who you are today, and it's going to take some time to reprogram yourself. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to completely change as a person. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to deny who you've become. Look at it as a promotion. Look at it as an upgrade. Because if you're reading this book, for whatever reason, you're not completely happy with your life. Let's get real here. So do yourself a big favor and take action on these suggestions. Please understand that you have to put one foot in front of the other. Take it day by day, but eventually, you will get there. Your number one weapon: honesty. Be completely honest with yourself. You should not have any sacred cows. Instead, you should gear up for a nice barbecue. Turn your sacred cows into nice burgers, steaks, and burritos. I wish you a happy journey.